Welcome to this series where we are taking a look at the 1.8 update for Empyrion Galactic Survival. This was released in June 2022. In the last part, we took down the wrecked capital vessel or derelict ship that's behind us there. And what I've been doing off camera is mining out all the main resources and blocks. And what I want to do in this part is extend the Pioneer to give us some more hangar space, also a little bit more carry capacity, and effectively start turning this into our space-going carrier. So that is going to be very much the focus of this part, and hopefully it's going to work quite well. But before we do that, I just need to make one adjustment. If we come in here and we just turn the jetpack off, because what I did was, if I can find everything, I've got resources scattered all over the place. What I did find inside the wreck ship is a couple of CPU extenders. These are tier 3, and quite exceptionally they are actually for a capital vessel, which means that we've got the ability to get into here, because we need the CPU. And so what we're going to do, first things first, is we're going to shove these into there. What that will do is extend the CPU to 1.5 million. So we got roughly 1 million in CPU points now to do what we need to do, which is good. Oops, get back on. So apologies in advance if this isn't particularly that interesting for you guys, but it's something I feel I want to do because, well, I'll just show you before we get started. You can see I've already taken a lot of blocks out of this derelict ship. You can see I've been stripping them out. One of the downsides with this POI is the fact that it's got lots and lots of blocks, but very little combat still. So all these are hardened blocks. If I show you there, but that is not the end of the world for the Pioneer, because eventually the Pioneer will be hid in the centrals, next to the central sun of each system, so it shouldn't be exposed to too much danger. I think that's probably a good segue to the other thing I want to talk about before we get started. That is that I've also been dumping large quantities of blocks and other resources up to my, what I would look thinking about as a combat CV, and I'm kind of a bit inclined at the moment towards the Creel ships by Jeff Randall. Now the Creel Shade, if I show you this is only a level 10, which I've already got most of the resources I actually need for this. But the problem with this is that, one, it's overall the final result isn't that particularly well, it's a bit weak. Also, it means that I've got to go down quite a long upgrade path to get it to the level. So at the moment, my inclination, well, my dream was to go for this, the Creel Overseer WC. You can see this is unlock level 25, class 19. But if I show you the factory here, despite taking out piles and piles of blocks, we're not even close. The only thing that's gone way past is the titanium rods, and the reason for that is that I've been literally just dumping loads and loads of hardened steel blocks into the workshop just to, well, find something to do with them, to be honest. So at the moment, my potential target is the Krill Ancipiter. I think that's how you pronounce it. You see, this is a little bit better resource wise, and you can see the big problem at the moment is that this has got a lot of combat steel blocks. You can see here we're well short on Sathium, but on the positive side, we can go and visit the Pelican and get quite a lot of Sathium from that. There's also the fact that we're going to get 27 grow plots, and of course the big problem is going to be is we're going to need 8 large optronics bridges and 4 large optronics matrices. So there's a lot of work to do before we get the combat ship up and running, but that is for the future. But the first thing I want to do is get some work done on the ship, and of course to begin with we're going to take things apart. Now I do have a bit of a storage problem, in the sense that you can see I've had to put one of the hangar doors I took off the ship there, and of course what I need to do is take the second hangar door off. We're going to take out the hangar door, retrieve block, and we need to take the ramps off the back as well. And what I'll be trying to do is extend the ship back and have side hangar doors. So the next thing we're going to do is get these thrusters out, because, well, I've already full up. Going to be a bit of a pain in the neck. I thought I had enough space. Hopefully we'll be able to. Otherwise, what I'm going to have to do is build around the options. We got that out now. And before we go very far, what I'd like to do is, well, we've got some container space there. On this side, but not on this side. I don't think I really want containers on the outside, because you can see we can actually see through that. I think what we'll do is we're going to put in, I mean, I've taken out a few Xeno blocks as well. I'll just put them in here. We're going to have to texture them as we go for this point. Otherwise, you're going to see the textures will show through. So I've already got the texture gun out. What I want texture-wise. Well, we're going to have to go whole block. We'll go black. What do we want? Let's go that way. How does that look? Yeah, I think the black texture in there will work. And we're there. Now the reason I did the blocks first is that by doing this, that will fit in quite nicely. And we'll just fill that area in like that. And what that does is gives us a nice kind of solid area here. One thing I have done is I've kind of tilted the ship over from the normal plane so that we can see from underneath here, because what I would like to do is reproduce these visual effects on underneath with respect to what Jeff Randall has done with the ship. So, and now the next thing we're going to need to do is, because we got this slot here, so we're going to have to retrieve the blocks on the top here, like that. Take you out there. I don't want to go too wild with this, because I would like to, if possible, try to keep as much of the structure going as well. Now what we have got across the roof here is some kind of unusual shapes, but I think what I'd like to do, if possible, is get the main structure in place. And we've got some kind of end columns on each side, so I think it's time to turn on the symmetry plane. Oh, I've already done it, because I was just checking it before I started. This is good. Now the first thing, well, I suppose we've had to get some nice big pile of blocks. You can see we've got 841 hardened blocks. And we're gonna mount that. I think is the, so that brings us to about this level here. Now, what we've got to do is come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That should give me the width for the hangar entrance, because when you're building a CV, basically it's a great big box. It's probably the best way to kind of discuss it. And then we put on another one. I put in a kind of a down one there. That should mark the end of the hangar. Let me just see what we got here. I think what we can do is take out that one there. And that one there. We're probably going to need to take some of these out as we go through. I think we'll start with that brings it the hangar to that position, and then we'll come right out back. Question is, do I go? My instinct, actually, I think what we'll do is we've got that block. Actually, no, that's quite a good joint there. What we got here in the way of blocks, let's take out this block here. Do that on the other side as well. We got kind of an edge block here which curves up a bit. We could use as the entrance for actually I'm more inclined, I mean that is that kind of comes out like that. My inclination is actually to put something like that, or we could come across like this. Now I'll give you a bit of an advance warning, as this may not be the final definitive version of this ship. This might go through some other iterations over time. We got that comes out. I think that will work quite nicely. And what I would like now is to put the actual hangars in, because they're the key to the whole process. There's no point trying to put, and what we're looking for is 9x5. 9x5 is kind of a facto. We'll just rotate it. That sometimes it can be a little bit difficult. I think that should be it. So that gives us the entrances there. That should give us the width. And it means that we well, it's going to come down through here, isn't it? So we need to take out this block here. Take that out to there and there. I want to upgrade this actual thruster as well while we're at it. I'm going to do it while I'm thinking about it, because this is only a small thruster, and also the block. Let's just store the block. Okay. So flow of large thruster. Actually, back to the main building supplies now. Got 47 thrusters. And here. Got an enclosed thruster there on each side. That's looking good. Then we're just in that little gap there. I think we're bring this up there, back to there. That kind of gives us the general shove. And we've got this feeling that's running across here. So let's have a look at the what now Jeff Randall's created. This is like a solid bar all the way across, isn't it, on both sides? I think that's how he's done it. Ah, kind of got trapped up underneath something. So we need to take out that there on each side. That is definitely, that's like a main beam of the ship. So still on the thruster. What's that gone up to there? That brings this through like that. Is this a main beam as well, where the this kind of changes and alternates? I'm kind of, we've got cross beams coming over like that. I'd like to have, and what's it? We've got, that's a kind of a, just been round a bit. And we got, this is 9 wide, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, just finger just flipped a little bit there. That up there and there. So that marks the center line of the hangar, like that. And what's the, I think the next thing we'll do is we'll recreate this visual effect he's done across here. We've got a sensor there which is pretty sure is redundant now, but we can leave it just for the moment. I don't know if you guys can see this, but what Jeff Randall's actually done is it's 1, 2, and we go, it's like going to be, we just look at this. He kind of comes to a block in the center, which then goes to the side. So he's kind of going 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to give it a go. I must admit, I've never really worked with the, oops. What we're looking for is these trough shaped parts. I think this is it here. That's what, 1, 2, 3. Solid block. Back again to, this would be 1, 2. Is that above? Sometimes perspective can be a little bit tricky. I think that's right, is it? Well, one way to find out we can do it is to, is he now what he's done is he's come 1, 2 that way on each side. So go back to here. 1, 2 on each side, and then we can just rotate that again. 1, 2, 3. What's gone? Actually, actually, we can leave it that way, can't we? So we can have a long section here because it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, because that does line up. I'm absolutely certain that does. If it doesn't, we'll make the change. Yeah, I mean, that lines up brilliantly. So I think we can go for an extended kind of run like that, just because I think he does a longer section here. So, and then we can run out like that towards the back here, like that. Right, so we got that structure in place. At the end, what does he do? He just runs in with solid blocks, that section there. Put a solid block there on each side. So we've now got this kind of filled in. And then what we've got is 2 half blocks, which actually this is a bit wrong as well, isn't it? Actually, we can cheat a little bit here by taking out this block. We will need to get rid of that. And we can take that block out. And then we can put in a solid block there. And then put that there. 1, 2. And that kind of lines up with the wall there. And then we put in the solid block there. That. And that fills this kind of gap in like that. And then what we need to do is put in half blocks just like that. Double set. That recreates the ceiling that way. And what's this block here? Luckily, with the texturing, you can actually see the shape of the block. And I think that is one of these. We can then run in there. That kind of, and we can run out to there, I think. And then that. Oops. I haven't made up my mind. I haven't made my mind up so far how far back I'm going to push this. So we've effectively recreated that roof. Now what we've got to do now is recreate this floor. This is a little bit more complicated. Probably don't need these blocks, so these steel blocks can come out. Bit careful. Take those out. It's almost like it's going twos, isn't it? So it's 2-2 block. One in the center. So he's got a Can I bend the, what's the multiple? We go 2, 2, 2. That's it. We put, actually, it's just let's just put the blocks in. So if I put a block in, yeah, and then then it goes. So it's gonna be. He's kind of did a 1, 2. So if we go like that, I think if we do that, we can reproduce this and then just fiddle this in a little bit from that perspective, can't we? And again, I think what we've got here are half blocks, aren't we? And what we've got, so we've got full size blocks here. Apologies that I'm kind of muttering to myself, but this is a little bit kind of complicated. That's probably the polite way of saying it. And we got 1, 2, 3. I think if I keep the pattern kind of symmetrical. Now down here I can run out underneath the floor should I need to. So we can put in 1, 2 there, like that, and then run across. No. I hate it when it does that. I'm putting off anyone who is considering building. It's worth noting that when you do this in creative mode, it's a little bit easier because you've got a bit more control. Building in the actual main game can be a little bit say frustrating. Yes. So there is a line through here where you can go with half blocks. So what we'll do now is just try the half blocks. So half blocks there, blocks there, half blocks there. Something not right there. Oh no, yes, it is there. We've got solid blocks, solid blocks. These are the same blocks as we used before, which is these. That can go in for that. Yeah, I think that will work because it gives us an air of symmetry under the hangar deck. Then the other side are these blocks. So that's, yeah. One little twitch and your finger goes everywhere. And then we got that block there. Then this will be a solid block like that. And that kind of half recreates it, a little bit more chunkier. I think for the next bit, what we'll do is we'll just take off the symmetry plane because we're going to be working down this section here. We got 1, 2. What's that bit doing up there? Don't recall putting you there. So it's, I think this one, now this is where the repair bay is. And what we've actually got really is, which has been specially inset. Sorry, not insert, inset. So what we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We could make the pattern a little bit more interesting by, say, putting that there like that. One there. You've got this edge here. What is that? We could do it this way, couldn't we? So we, and then just fill this in with half blocks as well, like that. That kind of recreates Jeff Randall's pattern. Kind of makes it a bit more interesting. I'm aware that it's not min-max defense, but it looks pretty cool. So we've now created the actual hangar deck itself. Obviously we've got a bit more work to do back here, simply because I need the next step we're going to need to do is work out how far back. We've got 1, 2 blocks here. I think what I would like to do, oops, what's going on? Right. Got 3, 4, 5, and I haven't turned the, what we call it on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put the symmetry plane back on. That should take me back to the back wall of the, and we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oops. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should take me back to the, because what I want to do is create on this end is a little bay for the silver shade, and so that we can get into this area here. And again, where it just is the, yeah, this is a double row, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's that? Seems to be, oh no, because I can just break it back like that. So we've got the back wall, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think it needs to be that deep. It's we've got this block here. Now this end kind of comes in a little bit. I think what we can do for the moment, I'm just going to put a wall across like that. That will create an internal wall. In fact, I think we're just mark this like that, and that would be the full depth of the hangar. So if we kind of zoom out now, it gives you an idea. We've effectively, what, more than doubled the length of the ship, plus we've still got thrusters to put on the back. And talking of thrusters, I think while I'm thinking about this, because one thing I've noticed is that if I come in here, I show you the thrusters. We've only got one left and right thruster, which is right at the front of the ship up here somewhere. So what I'm going to do is, it's going to be a little bit annoying to do this because we're going to break the name of the ship here, but I think what I want to do is just take out that on this side, this on this side. We'll just rotate. Oops, in there. Going to be a bit exposed though, isn't it? Well, I suppose it doesn't. There's not much I can do about it. I have a fairly exposed thruster on in the center. In fact, I'm a bit tempted to put two in, but probably block this in a little bit. I need to think a bit about that. And the other thing I wouldn't mind doing is coming in here. This is where it might get a little bit messy. I don't really know what's... Oh, that's a bit close. I need to get a container. And we're just... I want a bit more lift thrusters as well. But another, give me 3 thrusters on there. That give me a bit of symmetry from that perspective as well. Of course, what that means is that we're going to have to put like a nacelle out this way in order for thrusters here. And of course, at the end here, we're going to have to put some big boys. And I've got 8 of those now. So, and of course, the other thing I wouldn't mind down here is turrets. In fact, we'll probably put a turret position here. We'll probably have a firing platform here. I think the next thing I need to do is try and blend in. Let me just, I don't really want to do this, but I think what we got here, I think we're going to have to take out these on each side. Oops. So if we a bit of a gap there though on that side. Could take that one out and then just put one of these and normally block in. Or can I secure that from the inside? Recharge my oxygen. We've got a kind of a, I think what we can do is if I take out that one and one on that side, that one and that one on that side, and I just put that in there, that in there. That will seal off that entrance there. In fact, while I'm thinking about this, it does come all the way to the edge. So if we put in all the way to the top there, then put this block behind like that. There should still be more than enough space for the ship. And I think to keep the theme going, we're to put a line of other harder blocks like that. And what that will do is provide a guide for when we go out that way. Anyway, guys, I think the next thing I need to do is complete this mess. Let me just see. Got to complete the roof. How many blocks did I do over here? We got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5. Yeah, I think if we go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks. Put this in here. There. Solid block in there. Back to here. One, two. Put that in there. And this is going to be the back wall, so well, let's just get this block in here. You there. Put you back 3. Because we could run it directly into the wall like that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Go 1, 2, 3, 4. Half block. And that will run it right, possibly straight into this wall here. And then what we got to do now is finish this off. Yeah, I think go 1, 2, 3. I think the 3 would work, wouldn't it? So if we put in 1, 2, 3, and this needs a solid block on this side. 1, 3, half block in the center. 2, that. And this needs that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would effectively possibly line up with the wall here. We'll put a big block in there that recreates the floor of the ship. We just got a little bit of a gap here. You just need a line of blocks across. fill that in, and then what we may have to do is kind of fake a gap under the wall here, and actually I think if I put a block there and then there, that, and then we can put in there. I'm just running out of oxygen as well, which is another one of the hazards of building in game, as opposed to, because when you build in creative mode, when you build in space, you never run out of oxygen. So what we're going to have to do is go and find the oxygen bay, and of course completely upside down. So come here. I can probably change this texture. I can work out how to do it. We're going to die of oxygen shortage. Going to need to come into here, and we also need some food. I think we'll just shoot a pizza. I've also realised that I've lost complete track of time. We got a little bit more, I think. Hope I bored you guys completely to death. I think the next thing I'd like to do is actually start creating the nacelle here. Actually, I think one of the first things I'd like to do is, we've got this one line in here, and this ship's going to be a little bit wider at the back, because just to give you an example of what I'm talking about, building supplies, these things are going to be really big. And I'm just going to put one on the back just so you've got an idea of what. Oops. So this isn't the final position, but this gives you an idea of what we're doing, and what I'm probably thinking of doing is putting them like that, but not exactly in that position. We better, probably burning lots of fuel here, so. And because these are 2x2s, I don't want them on the center line. I'm gonna have two of these on the back. I think I'd be, we've got a down thruster there. So I think what I'd like in this corner here is got that there. Of course, the other thing we're going to need to put on here is some braking thrusters, because I don't think this ship's got that much in the way of braking thrusters. So we're going to have to put in some braking thrusters at the back as well. So we've got that there, and of course we're going to have to get the thrusters off again. Now, actually what we can do is look at the question is, do I go for a wide lip, or do I just follow through with this little narrow little lip here? Because we got that. We could run all the way through here. No, we can't do that. That gives me a dilemma, because what to begin with, I'm going to need to put a side ramp on, because we may need a hover tank. And, well, actually what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to put this along here like this for the moment, because strictly speaking we're going to have to land on a planet to get for the moment, until we get another ship and this becomes our orbital carrier. but which means technically we need ramps. But once this becomes permanently space-based, it won't need ramps. But because we've got all SVs at the moment, I don't really need ramps. The only problem is that if I don't have a ramp here, then I won't be able to get in and out of the ship. The other thing also I've forgotten completely about is landing gear. Where is the ship's landing gear? So many things to think about. I think the landing gear was near where we put this in. I think it's there, isn't it? Let me just see. We've got retractable landing gear. So we could recreate this effect on here like this by bringing this in. We could come in here. I think that's a full-size block pass, isn't it? Or shaped block like that. And then I mean, I would like the ship to look a little bit tidy. Then again, nothing says that we got to follow. I do like this effect actually. Well, we'll give it a go. What I'm looking for now is... Right, I'm just going to try and fit this in. That is about it, isn't it? We've got that in that corner, which comes to there. And we've got blocks coming out that way. Right, we need one more angled block. In that there. And then we need is a half block tapered. Like that. So what that does is it brings this in to this part here. It kind of opens this up with respect to filling in this gap here, which is what we've done here, which is effectively a solid block with a couple of patterns on it. We can also recreate this effect here. So it's just one block down. So if I would just like the ship to look blended, if it makes sense. So we could put that in there, and then that can come out like that. Well, we don't need to put all this very fine detail on. That's Jeff Randall's speciality, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty rubbish at it. But what we could do is, if I can find it, I think it's this, isn't it? So if we yeah, so we put that there, that there, and then what's he got behind it? A kind of open window effect. Absolutely no idea what that looks like. Oh well. kind of put that there. That there. We've got this effect coming back like this. We've got the thruster kind of hidden behind here. What's he got on the... Yeah, he's just got this kind of horrible bit cut in like that. I think what we could do is just... well, I can pan this in as we go forward. We've got a little bit of space here for nothing. So what we can do is do exactly the same as we did before. We'll just actually put some blocks in there. So that kind of makes this a little bit more solid looking. And I think this is where I'm going to leave it, guys, simply because I think probably sent you all to sleep. And as you can see, there's still a lot of work to do. What I will do is continue working off camera, because it's going to be quite a lot of detail work to be done. And then in the next part, I'll come back and give you guys a bit of an update. And I'll be completely upfront. I mean, if I don't finish it completely, but as long as the ship's flyable, we can carry on going out and exploring and maneuvering and doing things, adding and refining the ship over time. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.